Hello everyone, this is Gray Badger. Been a little busy the last month or so. Got two little new twins that have been working lots of overtime, so hopefully we'll be able to get back in the swing of things and get you guys some more information. It's been a while, but had a member of a guild called the Knights Alliance give me an idea here for Starros team here, so I wanted to share that. It's actually a pretty good idea. So we'll call this Santa Starros team number 2 that you can use. In the previous one, I showed that you could use all characters that had scoundrel rebel tags on them. And we'll be using Captain Han Solo, Stormtrooper Han, and Cara Dune just like the last squad. The only difference is we're going to be taking Londo out and we'll be using Rebel Officer Leia Organa. What makes her work in this team here is right down here where it says first time each turn Leia resists a detrimental effect or suffers a debuff, she gains 15% turn meter and 35 offense stacking until the end of her next turn. So under the Sano lead, even though she's going to be getting debuffed, she will be gaining turn meter, which will kind of help keep her moving with your squad. She does have a pretty good AoE, and with the offense boost that she would get from her unique, it should in theory be able to generate some pretty good damage. Deal physical damage 10 times to random enemy targets. Enemies struck more than one suffer ability block. Is reduced, the cooldown on this is reduced by 1 whenever Leia scores critical hit or suffers a debuff. Attacks can't be countered, which is good. So when she's getting debuffed, she's getting her special here faster, and if you mod her so she's getting critical hits, then that will allow you to just keep constantly doing rebel barrage. Her basic's pretty good. Inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. Gain 10% turn meter. If the target has full health, you get another 10%, and if it's an Empire, then you get another 10%. So turn meter is always good. So that kind of gives you a general thing there on her. Over here, real quick, since she's a different kind of a rebel, she's going to be being hit by the suspicious at the start of each rebel ally's turn. When Sana evades attack or when Sana attacks out of turn, all non-scanned allies are inflicted with suspicious for 1 turn, which is a debuff basically. So suspicious, you lose 10 speed, but you get plus 100% critical chance, which Rebel Officer Leia needs. She needs that critical chance to get those crit hits. So that's a mechanic that you're kind of playing off of there, getting that suspicious, which gives her 15% turn meter. So mathematically, if 4 of the people went before her, she would get 60% turn meter off of debuffs, plus whatever turn meter she was getting from just her speed stats. So it should keep her going pretty fast. to kind of give you a brief rundown while we have the other ones, Rebel Scoundrel tanks get played plus 30% defense, max health, max protection, gain 15% turn meter whenever a non-tank ally or Santa is damaged. Rebel allies and Sana have 30% offense and potency. They gain protection up 100% until they use an ability. Whenever a rebel ally or Sana has less than 100% turn meter and gains bonus turn meter, they gain 25% critical damage stacking until they critical hit an enemy. So this here will tie into Rebel Officer Leia. So 25% critical damage stacking. So every time she's getting that turn meter, she's going to get critical damage on top of that. Rebel Scoundrel removes turn meter from an enemy. That enemy takes damage equal to 20% of their max health. This part here ties more into Stormtrooper Han. The first time each turn Rebel allies Sana deal damage more than once, they gain 25% max health, stacking to max at 200% for the rest of the battle. Obviously, since Rebel Officer Leia has AoE, that's going to help her stay alive, basically. Whenever allies or Sana critically hit an enemy, they inflict target lock for 1 turn, which can't be evaded. So right there, you definitely want to be having critical hits, so you can get the target locks, which tie into her smart targeting scatter blaster. Deal special damage to all enemies, inflict nasty down for 2 turns. Deal damage again to all target locked enemies and stagger them for 1 turn. Stagger, second damage, always good. This here lessons in coercion. Rebel Scoundrel tanks recover 20% protection, dispel debuffs on non-tank allies. They gain critical chance up, stealth for 2 turns. Then you call a stealth ally to assist with the plus 100% critical damage. Definitely goes good with Rebel Officer Leia, that one. This here is just a basic, deal special damage, inflict vulnerable. They already had vulnerable. And inflict vulnerable to all enemies for 1 turn. Just gives you some extra damage output. Captain Han Solo, he's going to be kind of like your healer. As you can see, if he inflicts daze. Empire targets take double damage. If he's at full health, you get 30% turn meter. Another dispel debuffs. And you heal. Target other ally and Han, they both recover health equal to 40% of Han's max health, gain 25% turn meter. If they had max health, then they recover 20% protection instead. And the heal there reduces in cooldown by 1 every time an ally suffers a debuff, so you'll actually be able to use this faster with with Rebel Officer Leia on the team. This one's a revive, a random defeat ally. That ally's rebel, they recover 50% health and get 50% turn meter. And then has unique, plus 15% critical chance and 30% critical damage. Plus he recovers 10% of his max health. If he's already healed, then he instead heals the least healthy ally. Whenever Han uses basic attack, he gains 10% max health, stacking for 3 turns. Just kind of help keep him alive. Rebel Officer Leia Organa. And here's your 2 tanks. We're going to be just go over them real quick. Deal physical damage to target enemy, 70% chance to gain 35% turn meter. Turn meter is the main thing. Han taunts for 3 turns. All other allies gain 30% turn meter. In addition, allies gain 20% turn meter when Han is damaged while his taunt is active. Right here, the allies are getting turn meter. And Han has a 25% chance to remove 30% turn meter from each enemy at the start of his turns. Right there, that's the one mechanic. So if he's successfully able to do that, then he also removes does damage equal to 20% of their max health too. In addition, Han recovers 5% protection, has 25% chance to remove 10% turn meter from each enemy when he is damaged. So this here ties really good into sauna. He'll not only be tanking, but he can actually do some pretty significant damage. Cara Dune here, never a bad thing to have 2 tanks on a team, and she does pretty good on this squad. Deal physical damage to target enemy if the leader's a scoundrel ally. Cara Dune gains stealth. There's a rebel ally in the leader spot. Cara Dune loses stealth, gains taunt for 2 turns, which unfortunately she's not rebel. All she has is a scoundrel tag. So unfortunately Cara Dune isn't going to really be taunting a whole lot, but she will be getting stealth, and you can use her for damage output, and she's pretty tanky. Cara Dune gains potency up for 1 turn and deals physical damage to all enemies. Removes 50% of their turn meter. Empire enemies are stunned. So right there, it removes 50% turn meter, and then you get that damage equal to 20% of max health. So she's gonna really be help with the damage output. While stealth, Cara Dune has plus 100% critical chance and plus 50% critical damage. That's the main thing you're gonna get from this, which goes great with Sauna. Cara Dune gains critical hit immunity for 2 turns, plus 100% turn meter whenever Empire enemy is defeated. Half that amount for non-Empire enemies. If Cara Dune has potency up when she is defeated, she is revived with 50% of her max health and gains potency up for 1 turn. And that's pretty much it for this squad. That's kind of the general synergies. So right here you got Sana. She's going to be putting suspicious debuff on Rebel Officer Leia, which gives her turn meter, increases her critical chance, crit damage, which then speeds up her AoE. And then Captain Han Solo's heal will get sped up because Rebel Officer Leia Organa is getting debuffed. And Stormtrooper Han, Cara Dune, 2 tanks, they're going to be able to do that 20% max health damage when they're stripping the turn meter. Unfortunately, Stormtrooper Han is going to be your main tank, so you definitely want to make sure he's able to sit there and absorb that damage for your team. If something does go bad, Captain Han Solo can revive your tank. And Son of Starros is just giving all those buffs and helping the team with all those stat buffs. Plus, she has some pretty good mechanics with damage and some debuffs that she can put out there. So that's about it. Hope this helped. Please subscribe, and be making another video for you guys.